Welcome to another edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. I'm Ashley Bastock, filling in for Dan Labby as your host. And for the second straight day, we are doing a check-in from the NFL owners meetings with Mary Kay Cabot, still on site. She does have a flight to catch, though, tonight. So we're going to dive right in to the news of the day. And Mary Kay, I want to start with your latest. Odell Beckham Jr. has showed up in Phoenix, and there was a video that's gone a little bit viral of him shaking hands with Kevin Stefanski out there. I know you got a chance to see him very briefly. So what was the scene like with Odell showing up today?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I've known Odell obviously pretty well since he was a Cleveland Brown. So it was good to see him. I got to check in with him for a minute. But as you mentioned, when he arrived here at the NFL annual meeting to meet with some teams, probably one of the first people that he saw was Kevin Stefanski. So that got the internet world, the Twitter world, all abuzz. But I was quickly able to find out that, this doesn't mean anything. This was a hello. They are not pursuing him at this time. That is because they're very, very happy with the fact that they have Elijah Moore, with the fact that they signed Marquise Goodwin. They solved their speed or lack thereof problem. And right now, it's just not in the cards to acquire Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when this first came out that they attended his workout, like we talked about, well, they're missing that speed, and Odell certainly has that. But like you said, they kind of solved that essentially. He's probably out of their price range at this point. Well, not probably, definitely out of their price range. And I know you did get a chance to even sneak in a question to him and kind of ask him, hey, would you consider coming back to the Browns?
Yeah, I did. I had to ask, and he declined to comment on that. I also asked his agent the same thing, and his agent just kind of smiled and threw up his hands and said, we're just out here to get some sunshine. So, the thing about the Cleveland Browns is, this by now, Ashley, you can never say never. I say it all the time, and
Yeah.
It is so true. You can never say never. You can say almost never, but you can never say never. And the reason why we know that is because at this time last year, Deshaun Watson was pretty much a never. And then all of a sudden, there he was on the Cleveland Browns doorstep. So you never really know how things can change on a dime or what might happen. But as of this moment, they are not pursuing Odell Beckham Jr. He did meet with the Ravens today, and he met with a few other teams. I got a little video of him talking to Les Snead, his former Rams GM. And, one of my other reporter friends got a little photo of him embracing Robert Saleh and from the Jets. And so, there's just there's a lot going on. It created a little stir, a little buzz here on sort of getaway day at the owners meetings.
Yeah. And, I think too, part of the reason that you just can never say never, and you've been reporting this, but it's really the fact that despite how Odell Beckham Jr.'s exit went 2 years ago, leaving the Browns, like these parties have maintained a pretty good relationship overall. I think maybe that's something that's not understood widely by the public.
Yeah, that's so very true. Basically, one of the reasons for that is because of the way they let him go. Andrew Berry saw to it that he was able to secure his outright release and that he would not end up having to be claimed on waivers. That enabled him to, of course, sign with the Rams, go out there, play some good football, show that he's still the Odell Beckham Jr. that everybody remembered from his Giants days. And he really helped them win that Super Bowl. He was dynamite in the playoffs, helped them win the Super Bowl. And then, of course, we all saw him go down with a re-tear of what he said was, just not the best ACL surgery from the original tear when he was with the Browns in that Bengals game. And so, he definitely stayed on really, really good terms with the Browns. They've kept in touch with him. Even last year, when he thought he might be able to come back at the end of last season, he expressed some interest in coming back and playing with Deshaun Watson. He's still interested in doing that. Now, part of the reason that he's not here is because the Browns were able to trade for Elijah Moore, as we know, moving down from number 42 to number 74 with the Jets and picking up Elijah Moore. And then they turned around after that and they were able to add Marquise Goodwin. What that does is it gives you two similar sized wide receivers. Odell is in that same mold. They're all around the same size, all around the same weight, all around the same speed. So right now, at this moment, it's not in the cards. But I do think it's interesting that the parties have stayed in contact and they have left the door open for the most part.
Yeah, I think it's definitely just interesting.